The oldest victim was 87 years old. The
I had
youngest
to rewind
was
this. I had to
26.
record this because this nigga right
We
here
want to make
lied.
sure that
He
everybody
said
here in
that the
this
white
audience,
race
particularly
in
the African
America
Americans in this
makes up
audience, understand
66% of the
that when
population,
Dylan Roof
which is a straight
is
Masonic
arrested,
fucking lie.
what the
Now,
police stop to
he
give
tried to
him to
correct
get him
himself
on
and
the
say
Burger,
the,
Burger
the
King because he
censor,
says
but
he's under.
this is some straight bullshit.
But
This is why
black
I be on
folks
this nigga like that.
are getting
Fucking
killed.
tree from that.
That's a problem. And we understand that that's something that has to be addressed because that dichotomy right there, that picture that I just painted, speaks to what ails the African American community. And it's one of the reasons why you see the uproar that you have seen. But the reason I'm here today, and the reason I wanted to be here today, is because the even bigger problem to me is the fact that we're killing one another. We can slice it any way we want to, but I pay attention to the numbers game. I am fully aware of the fact that white folks are killing white folks in their own communities, that the communities from which you come, from where you come from, those who live amongst one another sometimes harm one another. It isn't discriminate to the African American community. Other communities do the same thing, but we're playing a numbers game here, ladies and gentlemen. White folks make up 66% of the population. Hispanics, Latinos, they make up 17% of the population. According to the U.S. Census Bureau report, by the year 2039, the Latino population in the United States of America will have doubled. The African American population
Yo,
is expected
he's
to
a
go from 13
straight
to 14%
fucking liar.
to 15%. That means while one populace doubles, while the white community hovers in the 60 percentile, the mid-60 percentile range, the African American community is at 13 to 14%. And by projecting that you're only going to increase by 1%, essentially they're saying, black folks, either you're going to die or you're going to be in jail, which means you're not really going to count. Think about that as a black person. Folks are predicting and
He ain't even black.
projecting
He's a foreigner.
that you are not going to matter. And when you think about what's transpiring in the streets of Chicago, what else is there to say? I mean, I'm looking at the numbers right now. Homicides in Chicago, 455. Last year was 490. Remember, we only in August. Last year was 490. It's 455 right now. These are the kind of things that we've got to pay attention to. Something needs to be done. The undefeated did a fabulous job last night.
Watch his hands. Every time he talk, he start doing that bullshit. Everybody know what that bullshit is. That's what he is.
But I'm not going to apologize for the fact that I'm a black man. I love my people. And we are in a world of trouble unless we address what we're doing to each other. We always know what others have done to us and what, to some degree, is still being done to us. But I will contend to you that the numbers show and reality shows that it's almost nothing compared to what we're doing to ourselves.
And Max, before you jump in, I also want to mention that we did invite the Chicago police to attend. They have declined to be here this morning. We will have Chicago natives, Isaiah Thomas, Jafari Parker will be here, plus Professor Michael Eric Dyson, Rajan Rondo will also join us. And we also want to mention that someone in America will be shot every 10 minutes while we're doing this program, and on average 10 children are murdered per day in this country, and 2 of them are under the age of 12. 37 police officers have been killed.
You see, they let the black nigga tell that lie. Them crackers, they ain't tell that lie. The black nigga told the lie. The so-called black nigga.
Across our nation, and Max wants you to jump in here now.
We were talking about another topic on the show a couple weeks ago, and Stephen A., you brought up Chicago. And my comment at the time was, I'm glad you brought up Chicago, because what's happening in Chicago is a humanitarian crisis. I consider it an American tragedy. And I remember thinking a couple of years ago, something's going to have to be done. A couple of years ago, because it can't get any worse. But as you just heard, it got worse. And it's twice as bad this year so far as it was last year. And still not enough is being done. So you wonder why. The idea of Black Lives Matter, and as we mentioned, parenthetically too, because the reflex is for someone to say, well, all lives matter. Yeah, we get that. But that's the point of Black Lives Matter. Too. Black people matter too. But that's not been the history of this country, let's be honest. Black lives have been cheap throughout the history of this country. Black life is considered less than. This is the legacy
legacy of slavery, of ongoing institutional racism since then, and that's a huge part of what's going on. Obviously, in Chicago, the resultant poverty and ghettoization of black people in Chicago, but it's a very complicated issue involving the number of guns on the streets, involving drugs, involving gangs, involving all kinds of interrelated problems, and it's not as though we're here today and like, oh, we're going to solve the problem at the end of 2 hours. But when we heard about the opportunity to come to Chicago and draw some attention to what's going on and discuss what's going on, we felt that that was important.
A couple of things I want to say before we go to break. Number one, I'm incredibly disappointed that the Chicago police elected not to show up. You are in the streets. I think there is brutality on the part of some police officers. The vast majority of police officers do their job in terms of protecting and striving to serve their communities. If you are one of those people, which should be the many, why you're not here to explain and highlight some of the trials and tribulations that you go through is incredibly disappointing that they passed up on that opportunity. The other thing I'd like to say in closing this segment is this. Yes, Black Lives Matter. There's no question about that. I'm a black man. They are right. But it is important that we make this very, very big point. Black lives matter all the time, not just when